Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to m.o.t.o today, man. We're gonna do something different today. We're gonna do the m.o.t.o Wednesday today. I mean, like right now. We're gonna do it here earlier because see, we're gonna have my boy Sammy, Uncle Sammy Ortiz on today, and since he's in Florida, it's kind of difficult to try to record these things and get him on. So what we're gonna do is do that today for the m.o.t.o. We're gonna do the Moto Moment interview today with Uncle Sammy Ortiz, and we're gonna try to invite him on right now. Let's see if we can get him on right now. We try to hope everybody doing well, man. Let's see, Sam, where you at? There we go. So we try to I try to do the little test thing. Hey Sammy, make sure you got your camera turned sideways. I think I got you invited, man. So let's try to make this happen real quick. All right, well, you're invited, man. So until Uncle Sammy get on, I want to welcome y'all to the m.o.t.o Mindset Successful Thinking Moto Show for Motivation. And sorry. It's a little different today. Because, you know, we try to do these m.o.t.o Wednesday interviews and then try to put it on later on this evening, which we're going to still do. But we want to go ahead and get Sammy on now. I hope you all having a great day today. I hope you all are feeling inspired. I know Sammy said he's working on this new mic he got on there. So, Sammy, when you get on, hop on, man. Hop on. I hope you can see it right now. But what we're going to be talking about today is talking about expectancy. Regardless of where you come from, your background, man. So let's go. Uncle Sammy, when you come in, make yourself known, brother. Make yourself know what you always do. Uncle Sammy.
What's up, my brother?
Oh, yeah, so the mic works then. It works.
Bro, I feel like I'm on the Jimmy Fallon show, but you black.
I'm black, though. Yeah, exactly. Black, a little bigger, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's a little different. But we still making things happen, man. So I want to thank you for being on with us today, man, Uncle Sammy, for real, man. It's been a pleasure to see you grow and doing your things down in Florida. And, you know, we've been knowing each other for quite some time now. We've been building with each other along. So we ain't seen each other, what, 13 years that you let me know? Because you've been in Florida for a while now, right?
It's been a while, bro. It's been a while since you came to my house and ate all that rice and beans out of my pot.
Now I'm trying to figure, did I really eat all the rice and beans, or you just is it just your imagination? Now I ain't gonna lie, your wife cooks very well. You know that,
bro.
You know,
look, bro. I got like 10 chins to prove it.
Yeah, 10 chins. See, and your kids have grown up since we saw each other before. You know, last your kids were like 6 and 7. Now they're like 30.
No, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're 30. But yeah, man. To answer your first question, yes, you came over. You used to drive this big old hoopty. And
oh yeah, of course, all the time, always.
You came over, bro. I ain't never seen anybody grab a pot. It was warm, thankfully, and you started eating out of the pot. Everybody had already eaten, but you know, it was just like.
See, if my mama,
huh?
But you know, I gotta ask people first. I say, anyone else want anything left, and then I go after that.
Yeah, you know, all those details. It was just the shocker that you grabbed the pot. We loved it. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
You were in college back then, so we understood, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
exactly. It was rough. Normally I'm eating ramen noodles or something.
Only so much top ramen and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches a brother can eat. Yeah.
Are you there? I mean, I tell you what. Now everybody. So look, man, so we're going to get right to it. I want folks to know who you are, you know, and tell them about what you got going on in Florida. And then we're going to get right into it of understanding expectancy, regardless of what your background is. Gotcha.
Yeah, your video here is a little frozen, but I can hear you still.
Oh my God. See the technology. Can you see me now? Can we moving?
You're not moving, but I can hear you. That's all good.
Okay, well, go ahead and tell me. Well, tell the people, the m.o.t.o family, about Sammy Ortiz.
Well, I was born in Puerto Rico. When I was 4 years old when I came to the United States. I didn't speak a lick of English. I learned English as a result of my kindergarten teacher slapping me. She gave us an assignment. I remember as vividly as it was yesterday.
You remember a slap? You remember a slap very vividly.
Oh yeah,
especially you got slapped.
Especially when you're 5 and you don't speak any English. You know,
yeah.
I was just copying my classmate that was sitting next to me. He was coloring, so I figured I better color too. Apparently I was doing it wrong because she slapped me on the back, yanked me from my arm, and threw me on my sleeping mat. Some of you guys may be too young to remember sleeping mats, but when we were in kindergarten,
hold on, you mean to tell me you got slapped in class in front of everybody and thrown on the mat?
Brother, she slapped me on the back, slapped me hard, yanked me from my arm, and threw me on my sleeping mat.
What is WWF class or something? Or what's up with that?
Bro, you know what? When I was on that mat, I thought to myself, as a little 5-year-old, I better learn English or they're going to beat me every time I don't understand whatever somebody's saying.
Oh, my God.
And so that was the beginning. That was when I experienced what I would call racism for the first time. And so I made it a point to learn this English language. So Spanish is my first language, obviously. And but because of my interaction with that teacher, I didn't do too well in school. I think I would say that I did well in grade school. I did well in junior high, but when I got to high school, it's like I would get these floods of emotions of not liking school, and I would always trigger back to what happened in kindergarten. And so I remember vividly going to my high school, my exit interview, and I had a 1.6 GPA, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like a real one? A real one? Is that real? Bro, 1.6? 1.6.
In real life?
In real life, bro. It's no longer a painful thing. It wasn't that I wasn't smart or anything. It was just that
absolutely.
I got a disdain. I got a dislike for schooling. I had 2 teachers though that really made an impact on me. I went to Fort Campbell High School for my senior year. I'm a military brat, so I went to a different high school every time. And but for my senior year, I went to Fort Campbell High School, and I had Coach Lang, who was my biology teacher. I took AP biology, and Mr. Clark Johns, my history teacher. They were cool teachers, and they really inspired me in my senior year to try. But obviously my GPA was low enough to where 1.6. I remember doing my exit interview, and the guidance counselor was like, look, I don't know of any college that will accept you. I really don't know if you can get into a trade school. And she said, I don't even know if you could even pass the ASVAB. And so I left. It was second period when I went through my exit interview. And I remember going back to my second period English class, Mrs. Jones, one of the only African-American teachers at the school. I remember going to the class, and I was like out of it. I was despondent. I was like, man, I heard no from my guidance counselor, and I felt crushed. I felt crushed. Now, obviously, it was my own doing. I didn't apply myself in school, but still, I triggered it back.
But think about it, though.
Come again?
Yeah. No, that's true. To think about it, though, oftentimes we in life in general, we go through that, right? We go through, you remember that one time when you were a child, or one time you might experience some hardship, and that'll trigger you back to say, you know what, forget it. I don't want to do it no more. And then you don't apply yourself. So that happens to everybody. It's just about how you overcome it, right?
Exactly.
But you definitely got the story about overcoming. That's for sure.
You know what, bro? Miraculously, and you're right about that. The power of the words of those who spend the most time with you when you're a child, an adolescent, a teenager, your teachers, the things that they say can shape you. And so I remember at 17 years old hearing no. Already having grown up with the experience of being struck for not speaking a language.
Yeah.
But then hearing no. So at the beginning of my school career, I felt like I got abused. At the end of my school career, as far as high school was concerned, I heard no. So it's like, I was like, man, this didn't start right, and it didn't finish right concerning, my primary education.
And that hasn't even gotten to the point of where you discuss what you grew up, what you had to grow up around outside of school. This is just education in general, what you experienced in the classroom.
Right.
You know, and then they even talking about the situation we had dealt with at home, you know, in regards to not speaking English and growing up in a neighborhood that probably had some hardships as well, you know.
Right. Well, you know, my dad was a career military man, so we moved a lot. We eventually, you know, my dad became a senior NCO, so things got better for us. But when we first moved to the States, you know, we were, even though we were military folks, they don't get paid a lot. You know, they put their lives on the line, but, you know, until you get to a certain rank, you don't get paid a lot. Some military people qualify for food stamps. And so we were living in the hood when we moved to Louisiana, where I learned.
And Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy, guess who else don't get paid a lot?
Who's that?
Educators.
Teachers. Oh, bro. Look, so
I was they put their life on the line every day.
I was going to get to this. This was going to be my tag at the end of the day, but check it out. I got struck by a white kindergarten teacher that messed me up. I did not want to do anything as far as education was concerned. Guess what I'm married to now?
I know. Where's she at? Is she there with you? Put her on the camera, boy. I tell you.
She's teaching now. But here we go. God has a sense of humor. My white wife is a kindergarten teacher.
Look at that. Transforming lives, man. Not even knowing. See, look, CT Fletcher. He said the most motivational speaker he's ever encountered is someone that told him no. That's the most motivational speaker, or even a teacher, or anyone in life in general that may have told you you can't do something, or like your guidance counselor told you, hey, I don't know if you're going to get accepted to a trade school, college, or whatever. But you mentioned about that teacher that did impact you in high school, right? And then tell us about the story about when it came to a point where you did a turnaround to say, you know what, I'm better than the 1.6.
Well, you know, it took me years, to be honest with you, Troy. I did end up getting into college. I got into college. My dad got transferred after my senior year to Germany. I went back to Puerto Rico on the Navy base, New Hampshire College, which is now called Southern New Hampshire College. I did get accepted to go into college. It was an accounting major that I started off at. I didn't want to do accounting because after a while I thought it was boring. You know, we all change our majors several times. But so after 2 years of college, I joined the Army. I ended up getting stationed at Fort Campbell, where I graduated from high school. And it was there.
I see those pictures. Hey, I see those pictures, brother. You were definitely ready to take your shirt off, man. Bro, I mean, you take your shirt off back there, bro.
Hey, brother, you know that.
Now they tell us.
That man is still in here somewhere, bro. He's just lost.
Yeah. If we take our shirt off right now, they might say, oh, put your shirt on.
Hey, brother.
Put your shirt back. But
I ain't taking
now, but I see those pictures, man.
I'm not even going to take my hat off. You know what I'm talking about? But no, it was, I did get into college. And then I felt, I walked into a church May 17th, 1992. It was the First Assembly of God church there in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I felt a call of God. I was born again on May 17th. 6 months later, I preached my first sermon. A year later, my wife and I joined somebody else to plant a church in Clarksville. And, that's where everything took off. I got into church planting. Within 2 years of getting out of the military, I ended up going to my first Bible college. So I did well. I did well as far as studying theology, and that's where my venture of church planting began, and I've been doing that now for over 25 years. And over that time frame, my mindset began to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my mindset, and that, obviously, by the time we got done with school, we lived out in California. That's where we went to school. After the 6-year stint of being out in California, we moved back to Tennessee, Clarksville, as a matter of fact. And that's where you and I met when, I was attending VLI back then, and they gave us a class project to start something. I ended up starting a church, which is now known as Bethel Clarksville. I know folks may not talk about Bethel Clarksville. The recruit.
Hey,
Sammy.
I was at that church plant, man. I was there.
So you know,
I was there.
You know, I'm not throwing any shade. We may not be in the history of that church, but that church started a 1,300 square foot living room that we outgrew, and then we started meeting out at Austin P, and the rest is history. You know, we Florida, but you know, that's where you and I met. Yeah,
but this is the reason why I had you come on today and let everyone know too, because the story of Sammy is similar to a lot of our stories, right? The story of where we got some challenges in the beginning of life, like myself, and everyone knows my story regards to where I was brought up, single family household. Tell me something new. That's normal in the sense of a lot of places, but I decided to see that it's something I'm greater. I got greater things inside of me. There's an expectation that I have for myself, regardless of my background. And so when I got to know you more, besides the fact that Uncle Sammy, he feed me because I'm in college, you know, and he got a awesome family, and he took me in like his own nephew. But besides that, it's just knowing your story about the fact of having a GPA where it was at, growing up as a Navy, you know, as an Army brat, moving all over the place, right? Got to get used to different environments and things like that, showing that even though my life in regards to the outside may say, hey, man, you're not going to make it. I mean, I don't know how you're going to get where you're trying to go. You still beat the odds and have an expectation for yourself and knowing that your mindset has to be renewed every single day. It's a 365-day deal that you got to renew your mind every moment. And that's why I said, hey, so some people on this show or on, I say this show, we're on this broadcast that may say, hey, I don't have a story like that. I didn't grow up rough. I didn't grow up in the, you know, where things was tough for me. I actually had a 4.0, but that person as well still have a story. They had to overcome something, right? They had to overcome something. They may have someone that may have impacted them. Like I had a football coach that impacted me. I had teachers that impacted me. Same as for yourself, you know, but it came with the expectation for yourself that you decided to, I'm going to do something different, right? So you went into doing ministry. Right. So let's move into that idea about the ministry that you got going on right now, where you're helping other students, other children. Even though you're not in the educational field, you're still an educator as a pastor. You're still an educator with your family, with your wife. So tell us about that and what you're doing down in Florida with that idea of renewing the mindset of the youth.
Right. So it all started 2 years ago. We had been living here now for 11 years at the time that this thing began. About 20 minutes from where we live, there's a city called Dade City, not to be confused with Dade County.
Oh yeah, which is Rick Ross from Dade City, right?
Well,
Dade County or something.
Well, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know, but all I know is that we went to this festival called the Kumquat Festival, and Kumquat is a little thing that looks like an orange, but it's small. I mean, real small. And so we decided to go to the Kumquat Festival. There's only 2 ways into downtown in Dade City. It's that small. Population of 6,400. Of those who show up on the census.
Oh God, 6,400.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you why that is in a moment. But we missed our turn. There's a street called Meridian that will lead you straight downtown. We missed our turn, and we drove 1 mile down the road to a street called Lock Street. Now, bro, when we took that right, it looked like we had traveled through time somewhere or went into some alternate universe. It looked like a third world country. And so, bro, I was bothered. By the time we got downtown to experience the Kumquat Festival, I was in distress because I kept on thinking what Lock Street looked like. You know what I'm saying? It did not look like downtown. And we're talking about 1 mile. So downtown looked beautiful. But Lock Street.
1 mile down the street?
1 mile, Troy.
And think about the mindset of that. I mean, one down the street is the mindset of I expect to be successful and you got money or whatever. And you go just 1 mile down the street. And that mindset over there is like, this is all we know.
Well, bro,
it can't get any better than this.
Well, bro, here's the problem. 6,400 are on the census because the people on Lock Street in an area that's called Tommytown, some of them don't even get counted on the census.
Wow.
That's for another story.
That's a whole nother Moto moment right there.
That's another story. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to stay apolitical, but either way, I'm bothered by it. And then I began to pray. I'm like, Lord, you showed me this. You know, I don't believe that God shows you stuff just because, you know, he wants to show off that he can show you stuff. I believe that God shows you stuff because he's putting something on your heart for you to do. And so within 3 months, I rented an office space at the end of Lock Street, because I didn't want the people of Lock Street to feel like the guy from bougie Wesley Chapel was coming to Dade City to do charity work. I didn't want them to feel like they were they were getting.
And then leave, right?
Come again?
Then they leave.
Well, you know.
So what happened is people come in, get the turkey out, and then leave.
Right. You know, that's like most people that go on missions trips. They go on missions trips. They're there for 2 weeks. They're taking selfies with the locals, and it's like they didn't know anybody before they got there, and they don't care about anybody after they leave.
Wow.
They just got their selfie. Wow. They feel better about themselves. And so I know not all people that go on mission trips go with that intention, but it's just, you know, what I see. Most people will go on a mission trip somewhere across the world, but don't even knock on their neighbor's door across the street.
Right. Got you. I'm with you.
So within 3 months, rented an office space, and I began to walk down Lock Street. Now, listen, before I got to Lock Street, I was told by people, don't go down to Lock Street. It's dangerous. You know, don't go down to Lock Street. There's a lot of crime. There's gangs. There's all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, man, if anywhere I want to go and be with Jesus,
it's there.
Down Lock Street.
It's
that place. And so fast forward, I didn't know what I was going to do though. I didn't know. All I know is I'm going to go down on Lock Street, and God will show me what it is that I'm supposed to do. I began to realize after I met people that there was an issue with young people. They were getting into a lot of trouble. There were gangs, a lot of families that were undocumented. And so I began to think, basically like what you're doing, how do I change the mindset of people in the community like that feel like they're invisible? And so I figured if I can reach youth and begin to change their paradigm shift from how their parents have, you know, taught them, then eventually I can get to their parents. But this is all about changing mindset, and it's about eradicating poverty through education.
You know what though? So it's a young lady here, Monchelle, who's all about how education changed her life. Education saved her life, right? The reason why so many people, I just want to throw that, because she's all about changing life through the educational thing. I have a master's in education, right? I believe education is, and I don't have the full calling at this point. Education is a calling. It's folks that really believe, you know, they know they were educated since they were 5 years old, like Dr. Finch mentioned before. So it's a true calling. So when you can actually go out here and change the life of young people, and even adults, that's a benefit. And think about this. The reason why so many people try to get with young people first is why? Their minds are young. The quicker that you get to a young person about renewing their mind, just think about MTV back in the day. They know that if I get these people when they're young, they will be clients for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
We will have them hooked. So it's the same thing with sugar, same thing with anything else. Same thing with poverty. But if you changing the mindset of folks to let them know you have something greater inside of you, that's why it's good to get these folks while they're younger, they're impressionable, where they get with a positive message, right? Positive. So it's good that you're working with young people as they're young. You know, get them while they're young, because when their mind, that's like compound interest. You know, it's starting to build more and more over time where you can become stronger and stronger for a later life. So that's great that you're doing that.
Right. So so the organization that I started is called Y.E.S. It stands for Young Entrepreneurial Students. And the whole premise of it is to teach minority and underprivileged youth how to start their own business, organization, or cause. And so the reason that I'm doing this is because the area that I'm targeting on Lock Street, there is a lot of poverty. And so I want to teach these young people that they, at the young age, we start with them at the age of 12, we go all the way up to age 23, that at their young age, they don't need to wait until they have a degree. They don't need to wait until somebody else comes and does this for them. They can learn at this young age that they can make an impact, not just whether it's an organization or a cause, but they can start their own businesses now that can, benefit them and their families. And so we've graduated one batch, we call them cohorts. Out of the class that we graduated, that first one, already we have 3 young people that have started their own businesses.
Nice. I mean, you're starting out early. Let me ask you this one. It's 2 questions before we go. First of all, what's the nationality in regards to the kids that you're working with? What's their nationalities?
Black and brown. So we got African Americans and we have Latinos, from You know, Latinos come from Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, you name it.
So let me ask you this, but is it more Latino type population than it is Black or African American?
No, I would say that in the Lock Street area, it's probably, well, it probably dominates more Latino-wise because you've got a lot of people that come in for, families that come in for harvesting things, pickers. But for the most part, the area, I would say, is predominantly African-American and Latino.
But it's because the reason why I say that is this, because automatically when folks think they were helping out minorities, they automatically think Black, right? When it's a larger number of minorities there and across this nation that you're going to be actually impacting and affecting, right? So it's good to see that you even still have diversity in the minority space. That makes sense?
Yes.
It's not always just African-American kids or African-American people that's struggling.
Right.
You know, it's a multitude of different nationalities out there. So that's huge to see that you're doing that too, and even helping out Latino brothers like yourself, right?
Bro,
you out there helping folks out. Let them know too.
Bro, I'm Puerto Rican. You know, I'm all about my Latino people. Here's the thing, though, that I'm noticing about the African American community, though, in Dade City. I don't know what it's like in other places, but African American community is a little bit suspect. They're like, you know, you want to help us, but
yes, all day.
Why?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because we're used to. Let me tell you why. We're used to being the consumer, right? They normally do a lot of things to say, what can we get from you? Like for example, we're used to you coming down, bring a turkey, right? Someone brings some type of money and throw money at it and then say, okay, but you get it to take the selfie, right? You get it not to really to try to help, but you do it to actually, you know, to take the selfie to say we're helping out some Black kids down in the inner city and blah, blah, and then go home. And that's why people become suspect. That's what anything in life, right? They're like, hey, we got to vet you out first. But when you get it, and when you're bought in, African Americans are bought in. Bro, they believe it.
I believe,
right?
I believe it. We're beginning to see it. And not only are we doing this in downtown Dade City, but now, as of September, we have been going into the juvenile detention center because we need to do something about this whole school to prison pipeline. Florida leads the entire country in school arrests for Black and brown students. We lead the country. Our youth prisons are 100% for profit. We spend more on incarceration in Florida than we do for youth than we do in education.
Man, you making me now. I gotta get my boy Barton on here. I think his name, but it's a guy that I know is a public speaker that because he talks about basically like this is a movie on Netflix called The 13th Amendment, right? Where basically it's a pipeline just going to, you get out of school, you go right to jail. That's your next step.
Right.
And I'm thankful for folks like yourself, man, that understand the importance of, regardless of what your background may be, regardless of what you may have gone through and experienced in life, when you got thrown down by the kindergarten teacher and when you got abused in a sense, right? When you start to realize that my GPA, the reason why it's what it is because I got treated like this, and you start associating all this type of negativity with it, but you had an expectation and expectancy to know, regardless of what I come from or where I'm going, is going to be much greater, right? So you're showing the younger people, these younger individuals, about entrepreneurship early. You're showing them that you don't have to wait till someone validates you to say you can do it. So, or saying that, look, this is what I did. You telling them, look, you can do this right now. Don't wait till you're 17, wait till you're 30. Start it today. It don't matter if it's a gumball machine or it don't matter if it's a vending machine. You're showing them today, like the guy with the drawings. The guy you have that, man, is excellent in drawing and having artistry like that. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know? So I want you to give us a last bit of encouragement to Sammy. Just give us that encouragement. Those individuals, those educators that's on here right now. You know, there's individuals that's little league coaches and, you know, people that's working with you today. Encourage them. What would you tell them today, you know, as they're going on their mission? What's your encouragement for most today?
I'll tell you what, educators, coaches, I think that anybody that cares about young people, and young people, especially millennials, are getting a bad rap from people. People call them lazy. People call them entitled. People call them, the list is endless. They're not that. They have so much potential. The ideas that I hear from the young people that are going through Y.E.S, I didn't think about when I was 17 years old. I didn't care to think about. You know, at 17, all you're thinking about is you At least I was. But these, you know, these young people, they want to end homelessness. They want to end poverty. They want to teach young men with physical disabilities how to play soccer. I mean, the ideas are endless, and they're great ideas. And so you as a teacher, you as a coach, you as a mentor, whether you're through big brothers, big sisters, whatever it is, speak positive words to these young people. Some of them are coming in from homes where, just like yourself, Troy, maybe dad's not around. You know that happens a lot with black and brown young people. Or if both parents are home, most people are living one paycheck away from being homeless. And so parents have to work, both of them, and have to work a lot just to keep a roof over the heads of their families. And so, you know, somebody has to speak life to them. You know, one of the things that I say to people when they ask me why yes, I'll tell you why. I heard no, and I want young people I want young people to hear yes. I want young people to hear yes. You know, you've got to work hard, and ain't nobody gonna hand it to you, but you can do whatever you set your mind to do if you don't quit.
I like it, man. So hey, thank you guys for being here with us, being engaged. There's probably a lot of comments on here that I can't see, you know, right now. But thank you, Uncle Sammy, for being on here with us today. Real quick, tell us where you know, if you're in Florida, in the area, is it Tampa?
It's in the greater Tampa Bay area. It's called Dade City. It's probably about, if you're downtown Tampa, we're probably talking about 45 minutes north of Tampa. And it is the government seat of Pasco County. So Dade City, Florida.
Well, and then also, yes, you know, Sammy, when we get off here, put in the comments how they can go to it, you know what I'm saying, or go into your organizational site. Guys, and I want to encourage you guys to continue to be engaged with them. Remember, we talked about being in the moment, you know, being in a moment with your children, being in a moment with your family, being in a moment with those relationships you're building with people around you, because you never know who you're going to be needing to pull on, to tug on, to say, hey, how can I get to this next step? The mindset of successful thinking is an everyday process. We truthfully are being build our mindset to be renewed every day. So the mindset of successful thinking, M.o.t.o short for motivation. The true outcome of having a mindset of successful thinking is having an unwavering expectation of successfully achieving a predetermined goal. Sammy had goals. Sammy had a goal to be someone that he didn't want to, you know, he don't want to be that guy anymore in the past. So you got to go, and then you have an expectation. As he's seeing with the young people. The good thing about young people today is that they expect to do something, even if they don't work to get there.
Right.
But they got the expectancy, so they're already halfway there. They expect to be greater than they are today. That's why they can. They go forward to these different goals and be a part of these different organizations, because they expect to be great. But we're there now to put the puzzles in places where they can actually say, okay, you want to be great, so let's help you get to that point. You have a talent of drawing, you have a talent of singing, you have a talent of being a doctor, you know, you're smart. Let's work to get there. So thank you guys. Uncle Sammy, appreciate you. I love you with all my heart, man.
Appreciate you too, bro. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I love what you're doing, bro. So keep on doing it.
We will do that. We keep that encouragement coming, man. Y'all be good today, and share the video. I know it's a long one, but you know it's going to impact somebody. You know, so be great. Change somebody's life, but most of all, change yourself. All right, then.
All right.
See you, Sammy.
Yes, sir.